Wow, there's a lot of you guys. Who's excited to be here? I know I'm excited to be here. Now I can see on a lot of your faces that you're wondering, who's this chick and why did she get to talk? So I'm going to tell you. My name is Alexa Freitag and I've been attending Youth Tech Nation since it started. I'm now a committee member here, and wow, has it ever grown since that first year. I've also been a part of various different technology teams within my school. I'm currently a grade 10 student at the Composite High School in Lacombe. So that's who I am, but as to why I get to talk, well, they gave me the microphone, see? We try our best to both teach and learn no matter our as I'm sure today it will be a first for many of you. Not to worry though, we are trying to keep the group small and we will be closing doors once an event is considered full. But first things first, I'd like to start with the land recognition. We acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and recognize all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, and non-First Nations whose footsteps have gone to please respect the facility and areas surrounding it. So now, before I move on to the schedule, I'd like to briefly give a special thanks to mytechonsite.com for their generous contribution and for supporting the t-shirts that our presenters will be wearing. It's thanks to them, Beacom Computers, Perry's Pizza, Mastermind Toys, Classcraft, TBS, IGA, McDonald's, and Wolf Creek School Division that this could take place. And finally, I'd like to give a special recognition and special thanks to our trustees who are visiting us, Lori Jess and Bob Huff. So starting after the keynote, there will be 3 sessions in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. You will notice on your schedule that there's an opportunity to meet with your school before most sessions to reflect and discuss where you're going and what you have learned. There will be featured presentations in the theater showcasing particularly unique and advanced speakers and concepts. And because I know that many of you are wondering, lunch today will be pizza supplied by Perry's Pizza. If you have any allergies or other dietary concerns, please talk to a committee member either before or during lunch and we will do our best to accommodate you. Now, before I introduce our keynote and pass this microphone on, as I'm sure you're all waiting for me to do, I would just like to personally tell you how proud I am of how the student-led conference has grown, particularly considering that for the first time, our keynote speaker is also a student. I wish you all the best today, whether you're attending, presenting, or both, and I am excited to see how everything goes. And on that note, I'd like to introduce you all to Davis Carlson, our keynote speaker, who will be presenting to you on his descent into the web design business in spite of his young age. Davis is a high school student as well as a technology enthusiast, or as it is better known, geek. He currently runs a web design business and is also an avid supporter of educational technology. He has presented before at many different technology-based conferences, making him one of the very few professionals here today. In his spare time, he has discovered new ideas and created programs and apps to assist everyone from teachers in his school to people around the world, all keeping up with his studies, proving that you're never too young, which is fitting considering that's also his presentation title. So please, let's give our keynote a warm welcome.
Thank you. It is amazing to be here today, and as Alexa said, none of us are truly professionals despite my history, so I'm just going to give you a brief warning before I start. If I mess up and completely forget what I'm going to say, please excuse me, as this is the first keynote I've given in front of a group of people this large. So I just ask for your forgiveness in case anything goes wrong, which, with knowing technology, it might. So, like you heard, my name is Davis Carlson. I'm a grade 11 student from Calgary, Alberta, so just south of here. And I have quite a unique job, and it's a job that many teenagers would probably despise because, as I have from personal experience, I try to spend as little time in school as possible. But I have quite a weird job. I teach teachers. It's very strange, but what I'm going to talk to you about today is a little bit about myself and how I'm able to keynote Youth Tech Nation, how I got up on this stage. First of all, what I want to say is we need to look back. We need to travel back in time a little bit, look at me when I was younger, and see how this all started. So let's go back a little bit. Oh dear, that's a little too far back. Didn't start when I was a baby. We need to maybe move forward a little bit more. That's perfect. So that was me when I was entering grade 7. As you can see, I had a blazer that was about 2 sizes too big. My hair was in this disheveled mess, and I had no clue what I was in for when I entered junior high school. It was quite the switch from elementary. I had a bunch of new responsibilities. No longer was I in one class with all the same people and we walked in straight lines from one class to the other. No, I had a schedule and I had my own responsibilities, my own locker, and I had to manage all of that, and I was pretty freaked out, and I was just this weird little geek with a laptop entering junior high school, and it was quite a daunting move. But I found out something, and as I was entering junior high school, my tech teacher told me something and showed me something. She showed me about this company, and I don't know if any of you have heard about this company. They're pretty big into the internet scene, but this company also has a specific division just dedicated to education and dedicated to making tools to increase productivity in the classroom and help students. So this company, like I said, I'm not sure if any of you have known about it. This company is called Google. Do you know it? You guys know Google? Perfect. Then you're going to understand what I'm going to say. Google also has a branch of it called Google for Education. And Google for Education, like I said, it is a branch of Google that is designed to make tools and bring the internet and all of its functionality and all the amazing things you can do with it into the classroom setting. So, you know what? One of the first things, now, to be fair, when I entered grade 7, I didn't know Google for Education existed. I thought, like, Microsoft Word was the only way I could type something up. But when I got into grade 7, my tech teacher showed me something, and it was amazing. It changed my life. I found out you could do this. I was shocked. You can work with, now, most of you probably know you can do this already. You can work with multiple people on one document. When I entered grade 7, I didn't know you could do this. It was like my mind was blown, and I have a perfect video to demonstrate that experience. My mind was blown because as far as I knew, we'll watch it again. This is exactly, when I say technically, it doesn't sometimes always work. Perfect. Because as far as I knew, this was the only way to do projects. You have 1 to as many as 10 kids all working on one computer, trying to get their thoughts out, trying to do all the work, and this is what I experienced in elementary school. I had 10 people around me, and we all wanted to do the work, we all wanted to touch the computer, and it was madness. Or we had to do projects like this, where one kid did some of the work at school and then took a USB stick home and did their work, then came to school the next day and brought it back, gave it to the next student, and by the time you've wasted probably like 10 days of your project time because one kid forgot it and one kid didn't get his homework done, and it was madness. But now I found out you could do collaboration in the Google tools, and that's one of the big selling points of Google for Education tools. Now, fast forward a little bit. Now I'm in grade 8. I know my way around my school. I know what I'm doing. I know that, I know my responsibilities. I know how things work. I'm not as green in the big world of junior high school, beginning of secondary education. But my tech teacher told me about this. Now, this is a company I'm pretty sure most of you haven't heard of, and I mean that literally. But she's been working for this company, and this company's called, oh no, I got ahead of myself. This is what I mean by I'm not a professional, and I'm a little flustered. What I wanted to say, what I intended to say, I also, in the beginning of grade 8, started my own company because as much as I was into the Google tools, I was also into computer programming. And I really had a knack for it. I had a knack especially for programming websites. So I started my own little small business. And I was programming websites for individuals, small companies, I even programmed for some actors. And I'm still running this now, and this was a big step for me. Next, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. There's a company called EdTech Team. To dull it down, EdTech Team is a group of teachers from around the globe that have spent a lot of time sharing their tips for education in the classroom. That's what EdTech Team is. And my tech teacher had been doing some freelance work for them. And she came to me and she said, Davis, this year, Rundle College, my school, is hosting one of our events. And I was like, that sounds really cool. And then she asked me this question: would you like to present? 3 emotions ran through my head when I got asked that question. 1, I was excited because now I could share my ideas with other people. 2, I was shocked because I was offered such an amazing responsibility. This is a conference in which teachers pay upwards of $300 to attend. So I was shocked that I'd been asked to speak there. And 3rd, I was petrified. I was panicking because I knew I had to go up in front of teachers and teach them. Imagine if you walked into class one day and instead of all the students sitting in their desks and the teacher standing at the front of the classroom ready to give you your lesson on history or science or math, you walked into your class and all your teachers were sitting in the desks and they pointed to you and said, "Student, you need to teach us something." You'd be a little freaked out. I'm pretty sure most of you would. Well, you're presenting at Youth Tech Nation, so you might be less freaked out than I was. But I was really excited. As scared as I was really excited. So 6 months passed, first day came around, and me and some of my friends were asked to also volunteer, help out, serve food, everything like that. So the first day was great. We got to stand by the door, welcome people, hand out free stuff, and of course, we got free food. So like, that just made the day 10 times better. So we were having a great day, and then the next day came around, and I was not scared, but that's because I forgot I was actually going to present that day. I walked into the building, I did my thing with my friends at the beginning of the day, we talked to people, we welcomed them, we sat for a keynote just like this one in the beginning of the day. Then the first session went around and I attended something, I learned something new. Then the second session came around and I attended something and learned something new, and everything was going fine. Then lunch came around, and of course, me and my friends sat together, we had this amazing lunch. We had an amazing lunchtime, and then this happened. Because I realized in 10 minutes I had to go upstairs and give a presentation to 30 teachers. And they were relying on me to teach them something new, something valuable, something they could use. So I had a little bit of stage fright. That was pretty much how I looked, because I did not want to go and present. I spent most of my time stalling from not starting the session on time, but I sat in the front of the classroom while all the teachers were kind of filing in and getting ready, sitting down, getting out their laptops. And I was just sitting there on my phone going, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And I was freaked out because a student in front of 30 teachers teaching them. We don't think of classrooms in that way. And I've never had an experience quite like that before. So it was really, I was scared, and I'm gonna admit that. And my emotions throughout that session kind of went like this, and I'll give you the rundown of the session. At the beginning, I did not want to talk. I kept my head down like this. It was just like, oh God, I don't know, what do I say? Okay, Google Docs, it's an amazing tool, it's an amazing tool. And after about 10 minutes like that, I was like, okay, no one's left yet. No one's booed me and thrown tomatoes at the front of the classroom, so it's a good sign. Then I went And I started talking a little bit more, and I started actually looking at the people in my room, and I started telling them about what I really wanted to say, and I started showing them what I wanted to show them. And for reference, I wanted to show them about Google Docs and how you can use a tool in Google Docs called Explore to directly put in images from Google that you have rights to use without opening up a new tab. You can just search for images right in your document, drag them right in. That's what I want to share with teachers. I want to share how good that tool was for a student doing work. If you wanted to put in a quote, say you're writing a paper and you wanted to put in a quote, it would cite it automatically for you in case you had to do that. So I was getting a little bit less scared, a little bit less nervous, and I was walking around the front of the room, and I was telling them about this, and I was showing on the screen what I was doing, and then it came to the time where I gave the teachers a little bit of freedom, and I said, okay, now you go try doing this. You go try putting in some images and putting in some quotes and see how you can use this tool. And you know what? I was quite a bit more relaxed from when I started the session because, like I said, no one booed me, no one left, and the teachers that in my session were quite interested. They were really interested in learning about this tool and how to use this tool from a student's perspective, and that's what I was there to teach them. So I was much more relaxed, and I walked around and I helped the teachers that needed help for what do I do this, or if I want to do this way, how do I do that? So I was walking around, and I had another student that was helping me, and he was walking around and he was showing them things too. And it got better. I really enjoyed it. Then I learned that Google for Education has a training program and a certification program. And they have 4 levels that are designed towards teachers wanting to achieve these certifications so Google can say, hey, you know how to teach the Google tools. You know how to use them effectively. I'm proud to say that as of about a month ago, I've received 3 out of the 4 certifications that are designed to teachers. The first 2 are called Certified Educator, which in a nutshell means Google says you know enough about the Google tools to teach someone how to use them. And I was really proud to achieve that. The third one you see, the blue one, is one I'm really proud of, and I just received the status as of 3 weeks ago. It's called a Certified Trainer. I believe, and I haven't been proved wrong on this yet, I'm the youngest person in the world to have received this status. And this means Google has said, I can teach people who can teach people how to use the Google tools. I can train people on how to teach other people to use the Google tools. That's pretty much what it means, and I'm really excited to have that. I went through a lot of applications to receive that, and that is an amazing accomplishment for me. So I started doing more summits. I started doing more of these things with Ed Tech Team, and I made quite a few friends along the way. I had an awesome time. You can see that's me up the top left there and the top middle. And these summits aren't like a really professional, strict business conference. No, it's a really fun, engaging experience. We have photo booths, and you have like wacky things you can take pictures with, and everyone's dancing around at lunch. It's a really fun experience, and I had a great time. And I started doing more, and I've done upwards of 8 or more summits in the last few years, mainly focused around Alberta and British Columbia. But my goal is to start going more into Eastern Canada and into the States. And I've had fun doing these sessions. And I've started doing more and more per summit. So instead of just doing 1, I've started doing 2 and 3. And I'm sharing all my ideas with these teachers, and still haven't lost anyone leaving my session yet, so that's good. It means they're interested in hearing what I have to say. So now we fast forward to about 4 months ago. And I was coming home from school. I'm in grade 11 now, so I'm coming home from school, doing my regular homework. I have chemistry homework, and English homework, and math homework. So I'm sitting down to do this, and my phone buzzes. I'm like, yay, I got a message. I love getting a message. I love when people pay attention to me. This is a treat right now. I got all 300 of you paying attention to me. And I got an email. And I'm like, great. Love getting emails. And this email, I want to say changed my life, but that's not the right word. This email was a big step for me, was a huge accomplishment, as big as getting Google Certified Trainer. This email came from someone at Wolf Creek School District and said, "Hey Davis, I was at a summit once, I saw you present, you're pretty good. Do you want to keynote Youth Tech Nation?" Remember how I told you when I first got asked to do a Google Summit, I had 3 emotions running through my head? I was excited because these are the type of people I like to talk to. These are the people that have the same general interest as me, using technology. I was shocked because this is such an amazing honor to stand up in front of you. And I was petrified because I knew I had to create an awesome presentation in less than 4 months, practice it, rehearse it, and then come up in front of 300 of you and deliver it without completely losing my mind and panicking. So that's been the last 5 years of my life, from me entering grade 7 to right now, as I'm standing up here. That's what I've done. And I really enjoyed what I've done, and I think I've made, if not a small impact, something. I've changed someone's life. I want to talk to you about the amazing things students can do. We all probably know Braille, right? It's the language that was developed, the tactile language that was developed for people that are visually impaired. So they can't see anything, so they can't read. Braille, it's an international standard for making people who are visually impaired able to read. It was developed by a 15-year-old blind boy. Braille, one of the most common languages in the world. Something that has become an international standard that has helped millions of people that are hard of sight, was developed by someone your age. Popsicles, we all love them. They were developed by an 11-year-old. Like, where would we be in the world today without popsicles? We've got a hot summer day, need to cool down, popsicle. It's the greatest invention ever. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was invented before sliced bread, mind you, but still. If you're warm, hot day, you want a treat, well, just pop something in your freezer, pop it out, look at that. You get yourself a nice little treat. That was developed by an 11-year-old. Students need to advocate for themselves, and that's what all of you here today are doing. By attending Youth Tech Nation, you're advocating for yourselves. You're saying, I have something I want to share. I have this amazing idea on how to use technology in the classroom, on how to use technology in general. I want to share it with my peers. I want to make sure that everyone knows how they can use this tool. And that's an amazing thing. And that's what all of you today here are doing. Now, quick plug. If any of you are interested in doing what you're doing here today, but maybe potentially for teachers, I'm working with a company now called Spark to Flame EDU. And this is a program developed by a few people that are working with Ed Tech team and I have worked with before. And they're designing a program to teach students how to teach teachers effectively. It's an amazing program. And if any of you are interested, I'd be more than happy to tell you about it, so let me know. But we need to reverse roles in the classroom. Not all the time, trust me, but students need the opportunity to teach a little bit more. But trust me, we're not getting rid of you teachers, don't worry.